Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about how to improve the perceived value of an interior with good lighting and how this can affect human psychology. How color and lighting have influenced people's behavior has become recently a very popular topic, and how we are now understanding how lighting is very important for human behavior. I prefer to say, actually, rather than understanding, I prefer to say we are reconnected with nature and the lighting cycle. In fact, if you think the lighting since the beginning of our life on Earth has been such crucial for every living beings, and we follow this lighting cycle, the circadian rhythm. We are following this biological process. We have an internal clock, 24-hour internal clock, that sits at the back of our brain. And we have these cycles, alternative cycles, between awakeness and sleepiness. If we look at this image, during the course of the day, the light builds up its intensity. So it goes from a very soft yellow-orange intensity to its highest at noon. That's when the light becomes white, cool, crispy. And then after that, the sunlight wanes until dusk, when it becomes again very soft with a yellow glow. If you notice, we are exposed during the day twice to yellow light. And actually, when we see things, we are more sensitive to yellow light. Although it has recently proved that our eyes, therefore our brain, is more intrigued to blue light. What that means that by regulating the intensity of blue light, our body reacts differently. So we can help people to feel more relaxed or become more alert. Now, if we follow this as a human body, we follow this lighting circle, it would make sense to follow this lighting circle as well in our interiors, right? Well, actually, we don't. So many interiors, if you see them, that don't have the progression of intensity of light and color lights. And we are every day exposed to artificial lights, and through the course of the day with just one color light, one intensity. And we have technology nowadays that can help us. You know, technology can create this software control system, but if you notice, any interiors is still using flat lighting. So light intensity and colors are very important factors that can impact how we perform inside a space in both biological and physiological terms. So let's have a look how this impacts in biological terms. Light can improve the way we sleep. Light can disrupt our sleep. As I said before, just regulating the intensity of blue light, that can change how we react to things. And it's been proved that it's very hard to fall asleep under blue lights. Light can improve our mood, and light can stabilize our circadian rhythms. In terms of physiological terms, light decreases depression, improve human performance, and help us to adapt to our environment. So what are the ingredients that we can use to change our human biological and physiological impact? We can use brightness. So we know there is amount of light given by the lighting source, and the brighter lights intensify our emotions. Low light keep emotions steady. Now, it's been researched, and if you want to take a very important decision, it's better to be in a room with very soft light. So keep that in mind when you're taking important decisions. Then we have hue, that is actually the real color or shades. And color created by artificial light can evoke different emotions that can affect our body in different ways. Research is done with a different amount of people, and these people has been put in a room for a certain amount of time, and it's been proved that if are exposed to warm lights or to cool light, the body will react in a different way. If they are exposed to warm lights, the skin conductance and the heart rate will increase very quickly. If they are exposed to cool lights, their heart rate will slow down. So let's have some examples of what kind of color light we can use. We can use blue lights. That can be a relaxing effect. Again, keeping in mind about the intensity of the blue light. Red light can cause an exciting effect, and green light can cause a pleasant effect. This is because green as a color sits in the middle of the color spectrum and is a balanced color. Then we have the saturation, that's intensity of color. More saturated hues can amplify the effects on our emotions, while muted colors can make our emotion feel less strong. Another important element to consider is the direction of light. A light source can transform the space and impact how we live and we perform inside the space. For instance, if we want to recreate a tense atmosphere, in terms of lighting effects, the light will be direct from the above, and we give a not uniform distribution. To create a relaxed environment, we should lower ahead lighting with some lighting around the perimeter of the room and using some warm color tones, but the light will be not uniform in terms of distribution. If we need to create a space where we're going to work, so we need some visual clarity, then we need some bright light on the work plane with less around the perimeter, and we can use, in this case, wall lighting and cooler color lights. In this case, will be uniform, the distribution. To create a spaciousness, we can use bright light and lighting on the walls, or possible when above the ceiling, and the lights will be quite distributed in a uniform way. If we want to create some room that's got more privacy feel, then we can lights the level, lower the level of the lights, and we can have a little perimeter light and creating contrast between darkness area with light. In this case, the distribution will be not uniform. Choosing the right lights is not only important for our well-being and for our psychology, but also to improve the perceived value of any interior. Lighting can be used to highlight any architecture feature of your building, can be used to enhance the paintings, the texture, or creating some focal points. So let's have a look what elements we can use inside our interior. We can use the lighting to add drama. We can create a kind of theatrical theme just using the light with different layers. If we look at this image, the feel that you have is very relaxing and very welcoming, but just few lights layers in there. And they're hitting a particular point, like the fruit bowl on the table and the path on the stairs. So just few lights, but they're creating a better atmosphere than having flat lights. Also, light can help you to conceal any imperfection or snags that your interior might have. On the contrary, let's have a look at these two images. If we use flat lights, like the first image, the one over there, you can see there's no emotion. All the lights are the same layers. They all are the same intensity. The scheme of the overall design is flat. And if you use something like that, you have to be very careful on the type of furniture, texture, and elements that you put inside, because every single detail is going to be highlighted. On the opposite, the other image, you can see again just few layers of lights, but they are hitting a specific focal point, like the window and the fireplace. In this case, just using different layers of lights, you can create a very welcoming atmosphere, very relaxing environment. And if you have some furniture, they are not the most luxurious one, you can hide any imperfection because you are directing people's eyes to something else. With lighting, you can increase the perception of the space around you. You can play with light on a vertical surface, so with wall washing or wall lights. And for instance, in this case, if you have a very nice garden, highlight the garden. No one wants to see a black canvas in front of your eyes. So if you have that, highlight with just few layers, even just to give the effect that that your space is bigger. And you can do as well if you have not a garden with just a wall with a window, so you can increase the perception that the space is bigger around you. Another important thing is to use the right color temperature for your interiors. As interior designers, we use a warm color temperature, a warm color scheme, or cool color scheme. And it's important that the light and temperature we use will match that. In this image, where the clients wanted to recreate a holiday house in London, where with blue, white, and gray colors, we use some lights that more than 3,500 Kelvin, nearly 4,000. That's because with a white light, you can enhance the real color and texture of the material. So in this case, the marble flooring. Using some warm lights here would have created the wrong effect and give a more yellowish undertones. Then lighting can be used inside interiors to define a path, and this can be done from the very beginning of the process with the client deciding what feel he wants to give when people enter inside a space. So you can guide people's attention towards a particular path around the house. And again, in this way, you can highlight any particular architecture elements, any feature in your space, and create the nice welcoming effect. Then you can use lighting to define different areas of a space. Nowadays, lots of people live in open spaces with kitchen, living, and dining, all one big space. So we can use lighting to actually define a particular area where a particular task is being held. In this case, the cooking area has been defined by a coffer ceiling. Now, as I said previously, the way we use color lights can influence our emotions and our psychology. But as anything in life, that has to be used with moderation. We have very good examples here where they use the same color lights, purple, violet lights with yellow lights. But in the first image, the effect they're giving is the opposite on increasing the value. Here they are decreasing the value of the space. They're using the light with very strong intensity. The warm light and cool light are very close to each other. There's no definition of area. And instead to enhancing the welcoming, actually is giving a very uncomfortable feeling. As opposite, the other one, the lighting has been used with very good moderation. The intensity is right. It's been used as well to define particular areas. So there's been the light color has been used in different parts of the space. And the effect is very welcoming, very relaxing, and as well giving a very luxurious effect. So just with the lighting, using the right way, you can change how a space is felt. So to conclude, we saw how lighting is still underestimated, but is still a very important and powerful tool that can affect us, not only psychological and for well-being, but can improve the way we see our space using some, and we can play with colors with different intensity and with different light directions. Thank you.